let's go on to the next one. This is also a very one of the more discussed mitzvahs in the Torah. And Torah says like this: Ki karei kan sipor lefanecha baderech. When a bird's nest happens, you come across a bird's nest. B'chol eitz, in any tree or ala oretz on the ground. Efrochim o beitzim, chicklets or eggs. V'ha'im rovetzes al ha'efrochim ve'al ha'beitzim. The mother is hovering over the chicklets or of the eggs. Lo sikach ha'im al habonim. Do not take the mother along with the children. In other words, don't take the whole thing. I want the eggs, and again, we're talking about a society where if you came across an egg, you wanted it. You're walking along, there's a good kosher egg available, or kosher eggs or chicklets or something, and I'd like to take them. Nowadays, we'd run in the other direction. Nobody in their right mind would eat what do you call pasteurized, homogenized, whatever it is they do that, and no one in the right mind would eat it. In those days, you wanted the eggs. You're living in that type of society. So what does the Torah say? Shalech teshalach esayim, send away the mother bird. Ves habanim tikach lach, take the children. L'man yitav lach ve'ach dayom, it'll be good for you and you'll live long. The Torah comes along, the Torah says, wow, that's an interesting mitzvah. Interesting mitzvah, what's going on here? The Torah comes along, the Torah says, you see a bird's nest. You're walking along and you see a bird's nest. And this, by the way, this mitzvah applies nowadays. I know people, I myself have attempted to fulfill this mitzvah. When we were living here in the yeshiva behind in Maladafta when I first got married. And a bird nested on our balcony. So I was going to fulfill the mitzvah of Shiluach Hakan, and there was like a board. We had a board sitting on the balcony, leaning against the fence of the balcony, and right under that board, the bird had nested. And I went and asked. The first problem is that the mitzvah only applies when something is in an hefker area, not on your property. So when I asked the posek, he told me the first thing is announce that my balcony is hefker. First, make your balcony hefker. So now it's in hefker area. And then go fulfill the mitzvah. So there, the bird was sitting on it as a pigeon. I actually had one of my friends from the yeshiva here came up to my apartment. I told him to stand by with a broom in case this man-eating pigeon attacks me. And I moved the board. As soon as I even touched the board, the mother bird flew away. And then the halacha is that you have to pick them up to make a kinyan, an act of ownership. So these two little chicklets. And the thing, I was more scared of them than they were scared of me. And I just picked up the chicklet and I make a kinyan as an act of ownership. And I put it down in the nest. Eventually they grew up and they flew away. But I fulfilled the mitzvah because according to some opinions, you fulfill the mitzvah even if you don't want the eggs. Just make the act of kinyan because the Torah says do it because it's what's called a gzeras hakosov. It's a Torah decree to do it. So tomorrow we'll talk about why would the Torah make such a decree and what's underlying this very, very bizarre mitzvah. All right, we continue. Yesterday we were speaking about the sending away the mother bird. And that page 1050. Yep, 1050. So let's just read it again inside because there's a tremendous amount. This is again one of the most discussed mitzvahs in the Torah. Ki korei kan sipor lefanecha, 5 lines from the top. Ki korei kan sipor, when a bird's nest happens to come your way. Baderech o b'chol eitz o al haaretz, or on the earth. Efrochim o beitzim, chicklets or eggs. Ha'im rovetzes al efrochim al beitzim. The mother is hovering. Lo sikach ha'im al habanim. Do not take the mother with the children. Shalech teshalach es ha'im, ves habanim tikach loch. Send away the mother bird and take the children. L'maynitav loch v'ach yamim. You should live long and be good for you and you live long. So the commentaries point out, first of all, before anything else, this is considered an easy mitzvah. Now, why is this considered? What does the Torah call an easy mitzvah? So you see a deep insight into human nature here. An easy mitzvah is one that does not cost you money. It has nothing to do with climbing trees and getting, what do you call it? An easy mitzvah is when it costs you money. Building a sukkah, when it doesn't cost you money. Building a sukkah is considered an easy mitzvah. Because in the old days, you built a sukkah, you took some wood out in the forest, and you built your sukkah. It has nothing to do with the amount of labor that you put into it. A difficult mitzvah is a mitzvah that costs you money. Chisaron kis, when it costs you, that's considered difficult by according to the Torah. That's the difficulty factor. So here the Torah points out, here you have a mitzvah which is considered the most difficult mitzvah in the Torah, which is honoring your parents. And the reward for honoring your parents is long life. And you have the easiest mitzvah in the Torah, which is sending away the mother bird, and also the reward is long life. Then you have everything in between, which tells you what the reward is for a mitzvah. So the easiest mitzvah in the Torah is the reward is long life. So The Torah says over here, you come across a mother bird, and it's hovering on the chicklets or the eggs, and you want to take them. So the first idea here, the commentaries talk about what is the rationale of this mitzvah. According to the most extreme opinion, you have to fulfill the mitzvah even if you don't want the eggs. Send away the mother bird, pick up the eggs to show that you're acquiring them, and put it down.
Can you say anything?
You don't have to say anything. You say before you fulfill the mitzvah, say hineni mucharum zuman if you want, but there's no bracha you make. Good question, there's no bracha. You pick up the eggs, you've acquired the eggs, you send away the mother bird. What idea is behind it? Kabbalistically, according to the Zohar, you elicit divine mercy. It brings divine mercy. HaKadosh Baruch Hu has rachamim for Jewish people because the mother bird, there's a whole very dramatic description of the mother bird going up to the heavenly throne and crying over its babies, which is symbolic of the Jewish people who are in exile, and somehow it triggers off divine mercy. That's one of the explanations for the mitzvah. The other idea behind the mitzvah is that why you send away the mother bird. You must not take the mother bird and the children. The idea is that it looks like you are, you're a glutton. You're a glutton. In other words, you're taking the mother bird and the chicks, you're taking the whole nest, the whole package. That means you're leaving nothing for anybody else. You're leaving nothing for anybody else. You send away the mother bird, so take the eggs, let the mother bird go produce another nest and more eggs, and other people can benefit as well. There's a certain act of gluttony. I'm taking the whole thing for myself. Therefore, the Torah says, send away the mother bird. Don't take the whole package. Yeah.
And how many times can you do this?
You can do that with each egg. As many times. Once you've taken
10 times?
Not on those eggs.
No,
Yeah, if every time you come across the nest, you send it away. Every time is a mitzvah. Every time is a mitzvah. No question about it. So that's the first idea. The second idea is the Torah says something very interesting over here. The mother bird is hovering over the eggs. Now, normally to capture a bird is not that easy. Anytime you've ever seen a bird, if anybody's ever tried to capture a bird, you go, hey, there's a pigeon. You take a step, the pigeon moves. Take another step, the pigeon, it just teases you, just flutters away another couple of feet. Here, if you could capture the mother bird, the only reason you could capture the mother bird is because the mother bird is hovering over its children. That means the mother bird is what in Hebrew it's called mesiras nefesh. The mother bird is in the middle of an act of self-sacrifice. You cannot take advantage of that creature's self-sacrifice. That creature is sacrificing for its children. Don't go and take advantage of the creature's self-sacrifice for your own selfish purposes. Number three, those are the basic ideas behind it. They even Kabbalistically, this is a sign of motherhood. If you ever fulfill the mitzvah, of sending away the mother bird, so Kabbalistically, that's a symbol. That's a sign that the couple or the family will have another addition to the family. That's all based on the Kabbalistic on the Kabbalah. Now, take a look at the very next section. The next section says like this: Kisivda bayis chadash. When you build a new home, v'asisa ma'aket legagecha. You must make a fence around your roof. V'lo savsim damim b'veisecha. Do not put blood in your home. Ki yipal hanofel imenu. When somebody falls off. It means if you build a home and you got a roof, around the roof you have to build, if it is a roof that is made for dwelling. In the old days, people lived on the roofs, people used the roofs. So if you have a roof which is not a roof, it could be like an angled roof like we have in many of our houses nowadays. So then, nobody goes up on the roof for any reason other than to check the tiles on the roof. Nobody lives on the roof, there are no barbecues on the roof. But if you actually have a flat roof which is used by people, you have a responsibility to make sure nobody falls off of the roof. And therefore you have to put a makkah, you have to build a fence, which has to be about 10 tefachim high, 3.5 feet high, whatever it is. You have an obligation to build a fence. Now, Rashi points out over here, why does this section follow the previous section? Rashi simply says, it's in the right column, 3 lines from the bottom. Rashi says, if you fulfilled im kiyamta mitzvah Shiluach Hakan, if you fulfilled the mitzvah of sending away the mother bird, Sovcha livnos bayis chodash. You'll end up building a new home. You're going to benefit. There's going to be a very tangible benefit over here. What's his name? The head of the PLO. What's his name? The guy. No, the new guy. Adas. What's Abbas? Mohammed Abbas. Yeah. So he's building a $13 million mansion for himself. So it must be that he sent away a lot of mother birds. So if you will end up building a new house, v'tekayim mitzvahs makeh, and you will then fulfill the mitzvah of building a fence. Shemitzvah goreres mitzvah. The mitzvah in Pirkei Avos says one mitzvah brings along another mitzvah. One mitzvah naturally drags along another mitzvah. And then v'tagia lekerem v'sada ubegadim noim, we get to a field, a vineyard, nice clothing. Lekach nismechu Parshat salala. That's why these sections of the Torah put one right after the other, because there's going to be a pattern. That idea of mitzvah gurer, mitzvah means the experience in life shows. When you do one mitzvah, another mitzvah happens. If you're standing in line at the bank, and the guy behind you says, "Do you mind? Could I use you? Do you have a pen I could borrow? I got to fill out a form while you're waiting in line." So you lend him the pen. The next thing you know, the guy behind you says, "Oh, could I use the pen too?" Then the pen goes around the entire line. Then there's another guy who says, "Oh, I need to write out a tzedakah check. Do you mind if I use your pen?" So now you've got three guys have borrowed your pen. You've also involved in the mitzvah of tzedakah being given, and so on and so forth. So one mitzvah causes another mitzvah. That's why if you're driving a car, you give one guy a ride, chances are a second guy's going to get in the car also, usually because the first guy invites him in. "Hey guys, I got to ride you too." So one mitzvah causes another mitzvah, and that's a natural progression in life. Now, the commentaries point out like this, because this mitzvah over here of building a new home, it follows as a reward, but why is this the mitzvah? Why does this come along as the reward? In other words, one mitzvah leads to another. You sent away the mother bird, you build a home and you build a fence around the home. Right? Okay, but it could also be, well, you sent away the mother bird, you have money and you give it to tzedakah. Why is this the mitzvah that's reward? The answer is, what have you allowed the mother bird to do? You've let the mother bird go free. What's the mother bird now going to do? They're going to build she's going to build a new home. She's going to build a new nest. So as a result of you allowing the mother bird to go and build a new home, so now you yourself will be able to build a new. That's why that's the specific reward. You've allowed the mother bird to build a new home, so you also are going to get the opportunity to build a new home. And when you build a home, you have to put up a market. Now, one of the commentaries, hold the question for 1 second. One of the commentaries points out like this: why does the Torah have to tell you to build this fence around your roof? Isn't it logical that if you have a roof that people use it, you're going to build a fence so you and nobody else falls off it? And the answer is that commentators say, well, you might get a little cocky and overconfident here, because the Torah promises you that if you send away the mother bird, you're going to live a long life. Well, if I'm going to live a long life, I can throw caution to the winds, and I could go build myself a nice roof over there, and why spend money on a fence? After all, I meant to live long. So that's a fundamental Torah principle. Don't get involved in let God run his world. You, the human being, behave responsibly. So the guy says, well, it's Rosh Hashanah, and God either decreed that the person is going to live through the year, or the person is going to die through the year. So the guy says, well, God decreed that I'm going to live. I may as well go try climbing Mount Everest. God decreed that I'm going to live. I may as well become a test pilot or a stuntman in Hollywood, because after all, or I may as well go shark surfing somewhere off the coast of Australia, because after all, if I meant to live, I'm going to live. No. There's always this factor of a person behaving foolishly. Don't blame God for your foolish behavior. Don't confuse faith with irresponsibility. Get there 1 second, Justin. Don't confuse faith with irresponsibility. If something is objectively dangerous, don't rely on the fact, well, God's watching over me. You're putting yourself in a situation of danger, then you are responsible. A guy can't say, well, either I'm meant to live or die, therefore I could jump off a roof. Right? If I meant to live, it was decreed on Rosh Hashanah I'm going to live, so I'll be fine. In Israel, there's a girl tried committing suicide. She jumped out of an 8th story window, and she landed on a mattress truck, which happened to be driving right underneath. She landed true story, right on a truck, right on a mattress truck. You can't count on that, gentlemen. By the way, if I meant to live, so a guy will drive by in a mattress truck or with a what do you call a cotton candy machine. It doesn't necessarily work that way. But sometimes God may decide, in spite of your best efforts to kill yourself, I'm not going to let you. That happens. That could happen. God is still running the world, and therefore mattress trucks show up. But you can't rely on that. It's not something that you're going to bet on. One second, Justin had a question.
Yeah, I'm just curious because I don't think it was in this class yesterday, but it was certainly yesterday. King David asked Hashem when he was going to pass to the next world. He didn't tell him the year. He didn't tell him, the time, but he told him the day. So, and I know you're not supposed to rush into death, but if you know the day of your death, that means the other 6 days of the week, I'm going to take on another.
Right. So so first of all, King David, the Gemara says one of the things nobody knows. There's another Gemara that says there are 7 things nobody knows. 7 things nobody knows how they're going to make their parnasa. Nobody knows where they're going to succeed. You could work your job, and then like the kid who said, there's a kid. They said to him, you know how I made it in life? When I was 9 years old, I was selling newspapers. When I was 14 years old, I was working in a factory. When I was 17 years old, I was working 2 jobs. And when I was 22 years old, my dad died, and I inherited a boodle. Right? And that's how you base it. Nobody knows how they're gonna make their fortune in life. That's one of the things the Gemara says. The Gemara says nobody knows what his friend is thinking. You know why, don't you? If you did, he probably wouldn't be your friend, right? And or not for very long anyway. Nobody knows the gender of an unborn child, even with ultrasounds. By the way, the Gemara is talking about independent of ultrasounds, but even with ultrasounds, there have been plenty of cases of ultrasounds where they already picked out the girl's name, and then a boy was born. And there was one guy I heard about who the doctor says, Mazel tov, it's a boy. He said, no, the ultrasound said it's going to be a girl. Right at the line of scrimmage, it was switched. So they call it an audible. So you can't order or an order girl, which as the case may be. But so one of the things the Gemara says nobody knows is his own day of death. So David HaMelech is an exception. David HaMelech asked God when he's going to die, and God didn't tell him. God said it's going to be on Shabbos. He didn't tell him what day he's going to die. The reason the person doesn't know when they're going to die is for exactly the reason you're saying. If a person knows he's going to die on January 17th in the year 2039, so up until then he'll live it up, and then the day before he'll do tshuva, right? And that way, that's why the Mishnah in Pirkei Avos says that do tshuva one day before you die. The obvious question being, but the person doesn't know when he's going to die. Correct, and therefore he should do tshuva every day because he doesn't know when he's going to go. That's exactly correct. So here the Torah is telling you. Now, there's another idea that I really want to get to. This is the main idea I really want to get to on this pasuk, and that is as follows. The commentaries read into this something completely off the literal meaning of the pasuk. And it says like this, Kisivne ba'is chodesh. Now pay attention carefully to the pasuk inside. Kisivne ba'is chodesh. When you build a new house, that means you embark on creating a new station for yourself in life. Specifically, a person who decides to embrace Yiddishkeit and make a change in his life. And he decides to become, I don't like using the word Baal Tshuva. We're all Baalei Tshuva. But a person who likes to make a stronger commitment to Yiddishkeit. I'm going to create a new level for myself. V'asisa ma'ket legagecha. Make a fence around your roof. That means as you are climbing, make sure you make a fence. All those rabbinic fences, make your own personal fence. If I know that every time I drive past on a certain street, there's a Pizza Hut there, and I have a weakness for pepperoni pizza. And every time I find myself succumbing to pepperoni pizza, stay away, make a fence. Don't drive down that street. Don't drive down, make a personal fence for yourself. However, pay attention carefully. V'lo damim b'veisecha. Do not put blood in your home. Ki yipol hanofel mimenu, when the faller falls from that home. In other words, make a fence. Build a new home, make a fence, but make sure that very fence doesn't cause you to fall. Exactly what we were speaking about yesterday or the day before. People striving, you want to grow, and you're creating a new level. Make sure that your own act of creating a higher level doesn't become the thing that causes you to fall. You move too far, too fast, you create a difficulty for yourself in Yiddishkeit. It doesn't mean there are no dispensations, gentlemen. You got to keep all the halachas. But sometimes a person just gets so rigid about his Yiddishkeit. You just become so intense, what they call intense, I just call tense. And you become so tense about it, and so nervous about it, and you're trying to become the Chafetz Chaim overnight, and then one day a person turns around and says, that's it, I'm done with it. You fell off your own roof. You fell off here. And therefore the Torah says, you want to build a new level for yourself, there's nothing more noble in life. There's nobody greater than the people sitting in this room. I'm talking about you. There's nobody greater. Nobody can match you. Not Ponovich and not Brisk and not Mir. Nobody else can match what you're doing right now. Nobody. But you have to be very careful that your own striving doesn't become a curse in disguise that causes you to go too far, too fast, and you fall. Somebody had a question. Again, your first name is? Josh, go ahead.
What's the importance of it saying a new house?
A new house is symbolically mean the plain meaning according to Rashi is you will be rewarded with a new house. That means you're going to get new property. House is also a term for property. You fulfilled one mitzvah, you'll be rewarded with a new house. But in this context, it means a new house means a new station in life. You're building a station for you. Symbolically, you're building a new station for yourself. I've been living in this house my entire life. Now I'm moving on to a new house in a spiritual sense. And so when you build that new house, that's great. That's great. There's nothing better in life. No, nothing more noble. Just be careful and proceed with caution so that you don't end up falling off as a result. And I've seen this happen. I am convinced, I can't quote you a source for this. I can't quote you a source. But just my own personal experience and my experience with other people, I believe that people have a certain amount of what I'm going to call ruchni energy, a certain amount of spiritual energy. Now, that spiritual energy means that as much as we would like to be Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky and we would like to be the Chafetz Chaim and the Vilna Gaon, if we're not, we're limited. So what happens is, I have a certain amount of spiritual energy. If I start adopting stringencies, and that saps some of my spiritual energy. I'm depriving myself of chocolate cake, and I'm doing things on Shabbos. I'm being stringent, and I'm imposing on myself where it's already beyond the letter of the law. At my level, that's going to come off somewhere else. And therefore, in the areas where I really should be careful, like not speaking lashon hara, and being considerate to my wife, and not snapping at my children, which is the areas I really should be working on before I worry about doing things that are volunteer and above and beyond the call of duty. First, I have to do my duty. Now, if I'm working in that area where it's beyond my call of duty, that's going to come off somewhere else. So you have to know the priorities. The priority is first do what you have to do. After you're doing it, it's like all these women who ask, why can't women wear tefillin? One wants to wear tefillin. She wants to put on a tallis or whatever it is a woman wants to do. You mean you're doing everything you have to do? That you've all taken care of. It means you're tznius, and you treat your husband properly, and you're tznius, and you don't talk lashon hara, and you're tznius, and you daven with kavanah, and you're tznius, and you only eat kosher food, and you got it all worked out. Now you're ready to put on a tallis. You're putting a tallis over your knees, which are exposed. That's what you're worried about doing. Take care of what you have to do first. Everybody says, "What about Rashi's daughters?" And what about Rashi's daughters? There's some evidence somewhere, I don't know where it is, Rashi's daughters wore tefillin. I guarantee you that if Rashi's daughters wore tefillin, that was after they took care of everything else that they had to take care of. They didn't just say, hey, good, let's be frum, let's put on tefillin. Lisa, right? I just don't think that that's where Rashi's daughter started. Not I don't think. I know that that's not where Rashi's daughter started. And then the second answer is, what about Rashi's daughters? Okay, you know what? So you become like Rashi's daughters, which means you have a father like Rashi, and then we could talk. You don't have a father like Rashi, so there's nothing to talk about. Your father's name is Ralph, right? And he's an accountant, right? So there's nothing to talk about right now. So what are you comparing yourself to, Rashi? You got nobody else in the world to compare yourself to. You know, only Rashi's daughters. That's all you can think of. So when it comes to what do you call? When it comes to our spiritual person, you only have a certain amount of spiritual energy. I haven't got the energy. If I'm going to be machmir and stringent on all other areas, then I'm going to be in the back room whispering and talking lashon hara. So you know what? Get your priorities straight, and let's do it right and do what we have to do. And after you do what you have to do, then you can build up to the next level. Okay. By the way, in the Mishnah Berurah, it says, anytime it does this, somebody just pointed out to me recently, anytime it comes to stringencies, the terminology used in the Mishnah Berurah, it's very interesting. The Mishnah Berurah says, Baal Nefesh Yachmir. Somebody who has a soul, somebody who has a nefesh, he will be stringent in this area. You know what he's telling you? He's telling you that you don't take on a stringency because your roommate is, or because the guy in the other program is, or because you want to impress anybody. You take on a stringency because it's coming from your nefesh. My soul wants to take on this. I just feel it's the right thing to do. There's certain times in life where there are certain areas of life, which you've experienced as well, I just don't think it's right. By the letter of the law, it's okay. I just don't think it's the right thing to do. I don't think it's the right thing. You can take advantage of something, a situation. By the letter of the law, I'm okay. I don't think it's the right thing to do. I'm not comfortable with it. You're not comfortable with it, and therefore you want to be stringent, that's something else. But if it's because of any other reason, you want to impress people, show people how frum you are, that sort of thing, then there's no reason to do it. Yeah. Again, your first name is? Akiva, go ahead.
So in a hypothetical situation, let's say you have a chance to watch TV on Shabbos, right? There's a sports game you want to watch, and you think that maybe leaving the TV off would be tempting to turn on the game, and you'd actually be turning on the TV and breaking Shabbos. So would it be better to just turn it on before Shabbos and leave it on the channel the whole entire time?
Okay, I'm going to be really careful here. The answer to your question, in theory, is yes. If a person knows that at his free choice level, turning on that TV is going to be a battle, which he may very well lose, he's better off doing something which does not break the letter of the law and leave the TV on to see the sports event. And I know exactly where you're coming from. He's better off leaving the TV on and not getting into that area of, if that's where he is genuinely holding. If that's where it's certainly not within the spirit of the law, it's certainly not Shabbosdik, but there is no letter of the law violation there. Then if he knows that he could, and he's seriously not that, well, I got a great excuse now because I can tell people that I might have turned it on. I'm talking about where the guy has really got a battle over there. Yes, unless it's a White Sox game. That is a Torah prohibition, right? You're not allowed to stare at evil, but you don't have to look at evil people, and therefore you cannot watch the White Sox. Anything other than that would be fine. Now again, I want to tell you, when I was growing up, I was raised in a Shomer Shabbos family. So, my mother's Shabbos was Shabbos. We were rarely allowed to go to friends' houses. We were very family oriented. And my mother was the typical mother, the shop, we're going to sit around and communicate. That communication thing. Okay, so Friday, and we loved it. She cooked a lot. Shabbos was great. One Friday night, the Bulls, who were perpetually chasing the Milwaukee Bucks, because Kareem Jabbar started with the Milwaukee Bucks. He was still Lou Alcindor. And the Jews were the Bulls were the Bulls were perpetually chasing the Milwaukee Bucks. Well, the one season he broke his hand. He had a broken hand because somebody poked him in the eye, and he got so frustrated being poked in the eye that he punched the basket support and broke his fist. The next day his eye was better, and he was out for 6 weeks with a broken hand. Right, which is a very important lesson in anger. Anger, sometimes the result of your anger is worse than the thing that got you angry to begin with. Your car breaks down, so you kick the car. The next day the car's better and your foot is broken. Now you got something to be angry about. So he was out for 6 weeks. The Bulls were close, and they were playing a Friday night game. I think there was one game separating them. We begged, pleaded, groveled, my brother and I, Mom, maybe this one Friday night we could leave the TV on. And I had friends who left TVs on a regular basis on Shabbos. They're modern Orthodox, the guys left TVs on. And they were all watching TV Friday night, and I'm sitting at the Shabbos table. So I said, Mom, could we maybe just leave the TV on this one Friday night? So my mother did not like it, but she said, okay, one time and one time only. So they left the TV on in an upstairs room. We ate the meal quickly, which she hated. Then we all went up to the room to watch the game. The Bulls were down 20 points in the first quarter, and it was downhill from there, ruined our Shabbos. Right? That was the last time we ever did it. So the sinners were punished. The sinners were punished right away. Yeah, and they never caught the Bucks. And it could very well be if we wouldn't have watched the game at times, they would have. Right? And we would have said this was long before Michael Jordan ever came along. But again, it's a serious question. If that's my area of test, then there is room for that. I knew a guy. I told the guys in the Gemara here. I know a guy who was also from a religious home, and he went off. So he told me, the guy was there in the yeshiva. He's religious, he's married, he has a family. He told me that he and his other yeshiva guys who had gone off, they used to watch TV on Shabbos, and when they wanted to turn the channel, they would throw a shoe at the TV to hit the button, so it should be only a derabanan. It's a shinoi. It should only be a derabanan instead of flipping the channel with their finger, right? So if you're going to do an avera, you should certainly do the derabanan, but there are no dispensations. Don't do the avera. That's the rule. If that's genuinely where a person is holding, then yes, that's the rule of life. Okay, sometimes you will see well-meaning people in this yeshiva. And you also always remember, guys who are in this yeshiva are possibly the most best-meaning, but least qualified to advise you about anything having to do with Yiddishkeit, because they themselves are novices, right? They mean well. They certainly want to save you from eternal damnation, but they are probably the least qualified to do it. So you'll often get a guy in the yeshiva, a guy who's already very, very firm. He's been here a long time. He's been here 3 weeks, and he's already he's already got payas. He's got payas and tzitzis. You see, he flutters in the breeze. And he only speaks Aramaic. And then when you listen to music, you say, "Oi, goyish music, osir." Right, and you're chayav skila. He's got. Now, first of all, it doesn't say anywhere that goyish music is forbidden. It doesn't say forbidden. It might not be nice. It might not be within the spirit of the law. If it's a woman singing and it's suggestive lyrics, then it's prohibited. But to listen to something that's not, to listen to something that's prohibited, and even then there are leniencies, but there are dubious. Generally, it's prohibited. Listen to women singing that. But if it's non-Jewish music and you enjoy non-Jewish music and it's not suggestive and it's just something like Elton John or whatever it is, and it's not particularly suggestive. I'm talking about him personally. Then you have that satchel available. Then what do you call it? It's not prohibited. Well, it's Simon and Garfunkel. If it's not prohibited, again, and nowadays the music nowadays is neither music nor what do you call it? So don't go making up halachas. Don't go making up halachas. Say, we can't make up halachas that something's permissible. You can't make up halachas that something's forbidden. Who told you it's forbidden? Who told you it's forbidden? Because you're so frum and you don't listen to it. It's beyond you, and you feel it's inappropriate. It doesn't mean it's prohibited. It might be not a nice thing to do. Who told you it's prohibited? And maybe this particular individual needs it because he's given up so much of his life already that he needs to hold on to this. How do you know? Where's your expertise? Where qualifies you to give any advice on this matter whatsoever? Because it worked for you. That's a miracle that anything worked for you. So that means project it on somebody else that you can't do.